in Kamen Razak. But here we go. Starting off in just a couple seconds. Let's keep in mind this is a solo cast. I do not have a partner with me today, so there's not going to be much in-depth analysis. However, I will try to enlighten you guys as much as I possibly can. We're going to start off here in 5 seconds. Puff's going to go off on both sides as obvious. Let's open the map and check out the splits as the gates open up right now.
Hold on to your point.
And right off the bat, it is looking like your pretty usual splits, and really no surprises. No one is crossing on either team here. We do have the Guardians rushing over to keep. We're going to have NG. Actually, pretty much like this. This is virtually a mirror that we have here going on both sides. Both teams are going to be sending the majority of their forces around the back to engage from the back point. The Guardians are going to be going. Red team is going to have a slight advantage in their Guardian on their first. We could see a little bit of a knockoff, but no, it's not going to happen. Both are going to get on there, contest each other at the same time. We might have a bit of a buckle behind the point, maybe? No, we actually aren't. And I think we do have a Shadow Refuge play coming in here. This should be fun, guys. Visceral Gaming going to come in here with a Shadow Refuge play. Let's see how this goes. And they're going to jump on Nyquist here, try to take him out for a second. He's going to jump into his death shot. Unfortunately, not really able to capitalize on that too much. And Commoner Curve actually takes a lot of damage. It gets knocked out there by Vonthal and other members of Visceral Gaming. They're trying to come in here now to stop out. Unfortunately for him, he does have a lot of teammates around to try and res him up. Barry's trying to come in at the moment, trying to get that res up, trying to heal him as much. But look at all this AoE damage coming from Visceral Gaming. It's a lot, but they did manage to get himself back up. Vonthal, unfortunately, in that process, took a lot of damage. And even right now, there's a lot of conditions going on onto the blue team. Commoner Curve did manage to get himself out of there, along with getting a teammate out there to vacuum as well. Let's see if they can get themselves up and then go back through the portal, maybe? Try to get that in. And yeah, Commoner Curse is going to come back through that portal, re-engage the fight, but it does look like Visceral Gaming has a significant advantage here in this middle fight initially. We do have Forsaker just using his death shot there. He's going to get knocked out. And while all that happened, Vonthal and Lizy, because they weren't able to outlast that long enough, did get knocked out there. But with the Necromancer came in there, and I believe he's a Signet of Undeath Man, res both of them up, completely flipped that around. Nyquist as well did manage to get himself rest up with an Illusion of Life, and he's going to be falling back now. But really, just there's deaths all over the place. I'm Not a Cat went down over here at the henge, unfortunately, so blue team is going to be maintaining control of that. But for the time being, Ugly does have control of that middle point, so they are, or rather, not Ugly, Visceral Gaming does have control of that middle point, so they are going to be in an advantage now as they take Commoner Curve down. They're just going to leave them there to bleed out, and they're going to push onward to hold that defensive line, moving themselves back over to the mine. Now let's open up the map and see how blue team is choosing to react to this. So like we've seen here, and like I was describing, the sort of defensive line, they actually were going to go for their boss first, a pretty logical choice based on killing multiple members of the opposing team. Going to be taken over and killing out Spawn here now. And as we're going to see here in just a second, I think what they're going to do, and this is what we usually see, they're going to hold a defensive line between the 2 points here and sort of wait for blue team to make a move. And blue team is making that move right now. It does look like they're going to sneak up around here and try to go in for keep once again. Let's see what we got going on over here. Both actually going to come out of the gate here, possibly throwing a line of warning to stop them coming through. Yeah, oh, actually, yes, does stop all of them, actually. Very well played by Vonthal, completely negating the rush there as the Shadow Refuge went out there. Well, they weren't able to push themselves on that quickly enough, so Vonthal saw this coming. Unfortunately for him, he still has to worry about taking a lot of this burst. He does have his teammates roaming in here from the back now. See how this holds off here, but he is under a lot of pressure conditions rolling all over. Has already popped all 3 of his shots. His renewed focus is the last cooldown he has. Is not going to pop that yet. It's going to pop his Empower instead, so he's still in this for the time being. Commoner Nyquist was just destroyed from the Shadow Refuge play that came in there from the red team, so very nicely played in that regard there. Coming in here now, we have more reinforcements coming in here from this team now. From poor commoners rather, as they all come into this. Vonthal is getting somewhat low. We might see him go down, but at the same time, while all this is happening, Nova and Commoner Razak were taken out there now, so they're going to try to take him out. Portal was just popped, and I believe red team fell back to another point as well. Possibly blue. Actually, no, blue team actually fell back to henge, and they're going to be engaging that as I'm Not a Cat actually came in there and double capped or actually decapped that for his team as well. So Commoner falling back here now, trying to 2v1 I'm Not a Cat here, and doing a pretty nice job at it. Jumping in here, let's see how they're doing. Commoner Curve about to knock out I'm Not a Cat, so it does look like poor Commoners will be retaining control of that point for their team. But for the time being, the score at the moment is 240 points for Visceral Gaming, 90 points for poor Commoners. Visceral Gaming have a pretty significant lead for the time being. Let's open up the map, see what we got going on. We do have a Thief that tried to escape. I believe there was a bit of a 1v1 going on there between Forsaker and Nyquist. Unfortunately for Nyquist, he was taken out in that fight. Let's see, opening up the map, let's see how the other teams choose to respond. We have another Ninja Cap coming in here from blue team. Razak is trying to sneak in here and decap the mine. Will he be able to do so? Possibly, but we do have Forsaker coming in trying to stop that as well. Forsaker, he might be able to get their time to stop the decap, but I don't think he is actually. The full decap will be going off now, and Forsaker is going to be 1v1ing Razak. We also had another boss code go off. I think blue team did manage to get control of that. Let me just triple check that for you. Yep, blue team did manage to take down their boss because they do have the buff now. And back at the mine, we still have that 1v1 going on. Forsaker taking on Razak. No clear winner as of yet. Pretty still early in this 1v1 fight, so no one has an advantage. Forsaker dodging the big old bomb there, getting out of the way of it, trying to take out Razak. It does seem like it's actually extremely even. Let's jump on Forsaker's point of view, see what he's got under the hood here. Burning with Red Spectral Rock Signet of Undeath did manage to take out Razak there, but the illusion, or not the illusion elixir is down, so he is going to self-res himself. Has that corrupt boon in addition to plague form as well if he needs it, but it's still an extremely even 1v1 here right now. No clear advantage as of yet. There's not a lot of engagements going on. I think we're going to have another fight over at Keep in just a minute, so we'll check in on that as that happens. But Forsaker has jumped into Plague Form now, which is pretty much going to stalemate that fight for the next, however long it lasts, about 10 seconds here. Oh, and no reinforcements from VG. Visceral Gaming are going to come in here. Forsaker's just going to dive point to 1 and AoE damage. And Rozlik will be taken out here in just a second. Going back over to the key fight, which has begun now, finally checking out what we got going over here. We have 3 members of Commoner taking on Both, who unfortunately is forced off the point. So we could see a decap going on here to a possible comeback from poor Commoners if they manage to utilize this properly and get a 3-cap. We did have Red Team's boss just spawn up there now, so that is going to be available for anyone to kill if they choose to. But Red Team has managed to kill mine now, and they have that at their disposal. Nova at the moment is getting pretty low here. He's falling back. Lizy as well is taking a lot of damage. We could see a double down state right here. Lizy is going to retreat, and I think as well, Nova unfortunately did not manage to come in. He's really stuck in a corner here as I'm not a cat tries to come in. Popping that misform and actually, whoa, just poured it up there. So interesting. Managed to get himself up there, and he is going to get his teammates to res him off. So blue team will be holding 2 points and will start their way onto a comeback. However, they got a long way to go. Currently 335 points in favor of Visceral Gaming. Poor Commoners down to the moment 195 points, and Visceral Gaming as well just killed their boss, so they're going to have that advantage under their belt now as well. Checking out, let's jump over here to Nyquist's point of view. Unfortunately, getting hit pretty hard there by the members of Visceral Gaming as they try to cross that threshold. Unfortunately, not very successfully, and Nyquist himself is going to be forced to fall back here onto the key point, where his Guardian is currently hanging back, just waiting. I'm going to jump on Rozlik's point of view once more, though. Let's see how he's doing. Unfortunately, a lot of conditions on him as Forsaker really is chasing him away from mine. He's trying to decap that again. Unfortunately, it's not going to go as successful as it did last time, and he is pretty much just going to be forced away from this as bleeds and other conditions just take him down. Nova over here currently taking on, I believe this is Search Scry, the Thief right now, and once again, we're seeing Visceral Gaming just knock out members of the blue team here now. And let's open up the map, see what else we got going on over here. Back in the Keep. We got another team fight engaged at the moment. Commoner Curve was just knocked out here, and both those coming in for the stomp. Could be a full stomp possibly. And no, did manage to stomp himself away there, using that deception, keeping himself alive and in this fight pretty well for the time being. Vonthal coming in, trying to get the stomp off on him now, and yes, he will get knocked out there now. Which will give Visceral Gaming once again the advantage here. Once again, the score at the moment is 408 points for Visceral Gaming. Meanwhile, blue team currently down. Blue team Poor Commoners currently down at 253 points, but they do sort of have influence over 2 capture points for the time being. And Nyquist as well was just knocked out. So it does look like, unless we see some serious reinforcements coming in from Poor Commoners, that they are going to get this middle point into Visceral Gaming's favor again and sort of retain this. Chieftain as well has spawned up. That is going to be blue team's boss, or rather spawning on blue team's side. So they could have that under the belt if they want to get that advantage. But it is looking a little dire here for Poor Commoners. They need to get those 2-cap and possibly a 3-cap at this point if they want to come back and take this game in their favor. Going over to Commoner Procur's point of view, who is sort of just hanging back at the moment, waiting for an opportunity to sneak in and engage. Unfortunately, does get spotted there, so he's going to be forced back there as Search Scry comes on him to try and take him down there. Instantly going to pop that distortion, trying to keep this thief off him as he really just a pain in the butt if he get chased around. Oh, but Lizy is going to come in, and along with Iskra, that burst is just going to be way too much for Curve to take on. He's going to get knocked out there, and that's going to give VG the even larger advantage. And back at the henge, that has been decapped as well, giving VG a pretty big advantage. Commoner Razakov doing a pretty nice job along with Barrakeep, and I'm not a cat off the point for the time being. Just trying to keep them up. They need to recap this point quickly, though. Otherwise, it's not going to matter. And actually, while all this was happening, we did have the blue team sneak over here to mine and decap that. And we have another fight engaged to Keep as well. Blue team currently 1v2ing over here. Nova 1v2ing on 2 members of the red team, trying to take him down. Unfortunately, is under a lot of pressure. She's going to be forced to retreat at the moment as well. Just 40 seconds, not including kills, until the red team is going to take this first round now. So they need to move quickly back over here at the point itself. No one really low as of yet here, but we do have Nova getting burst down pretty hard. Keep in mind these elementals now, most of them are running glass cannon, so they do get killed pretty easily. And conditions, look at these conditions ticking off on the Commoner team right now. A lot of them about to go down here. Curve was just taking down Nova. Nova's actually pretty strong for the time. He did manage to take out one of the members of the red team now, so he's going to get knocked out. Once again, only 20 seconds remaining, not including kills, until red team takes this match. Going over now to Barry at the moment, who Rozlik was just killed on, using the illusion of life to get him back up. They know they can't afford any kills for the time being. They're trying to get this hench back in their favor, but only just a couple seconds, guys. And it does look like that Visceral Game is going to take round 1. So congratulations to VG, and they're going to get round 1. And once again, I do apologize for not having access to a scoreboard. I had a virus take over my computer a couple weeks ago, and unfortunately because of that I lost all of my overlays. I did manage to save the logos and stuff, but I'm sort of going off what I have left right now. I'll obviously get on that, and for the next time I do a scrim and whatnot, I will have that. That is going to be a round 1. VG played extremely well, and well, we're going to move into round 2 in just a second, and we're going to see how that goes, how Commoner chooses to react to this now. Both teams pretty evenly matched, I would say. He's definitely showing a strong inclination to both decap. I do think Commoner actually, yeah, I think Commoner. Right? No, actually, I think we're going to see a little bit more of VG doing the decapping or backcapping on this map. Although it is a lot harder to backcap because of the way we have this sort of straight line pattern instead. Well, most of the other maps. Let me just go over here to illustrate. Most of the other maps we sort of have a triangular pattern of the points, so that you can circumnavigate between them pretty easily without anyone noticing. Whereas on this point, you got one big ass point in the middle and then two small points on the sides, and it's a straight line between them. So it's not like the triangular pattern, like I'm illustrating now, where you can sort of just circumnavigate between them without any trouble. This one, if you want to circumnavigate, you got to go all the way around, or vice versa, all the way around, or whatever. But the real thing on this map that a lot of teams do, or that the real crucial thing in this map is controlling middle. Because if you control middle, not only do you have that point, obviously, but you sort of have a staging ground to press your team onto other points, because you can fall back to reinforce this point that you already control because it's so big. You can see it right here. The borders of it aren't illustrated, but I'm sort of trying to draw it for you now. It is the biggest point in the game. No, I don't think there's any other bigger points. Most of the ones are the small sizes that we're going to see on the side points. So it's a pretty useful thing to control. But also keep in mind there is that Lord as well that can be killed. It's located here for blue team and here for red team. If either team kills their enemy team's Lord, they're going to get 150 points, and well, it's going to cause some havoc to say the least. But as soon as everyone is joined up here, supporting for Search is going to join up on his red team, and as soon as they do, I get started. It should be good to see. But I do think, like I said, we are going to see I'm Not a Cat, who was doing this a lot. Or actually, I'm trying to remember who it was. I do apologize, trying to solo cast. I think, yeah, I'm Not a Cat. I think we saw him doing a lot more of the sort of backcapping and stuff like that. And no, wait, no. I'm trying to remember. I think it was actually, yeah, I think we saw a lot more of Rozak doing that last game, where he was sort of moving around backcapping, so Commoner Rozak might not be in the best position to do that this game. But anyway, it's gonna be interesting to see how it plays out now with the team fights and whatnot. So I'm going to make some predictions here. I do think we're going to see Visceral Gaming get that initial mid-cap off, but I think we're going to see poor Commoners sort of work their way around the map a little bit better. And because of that, they might be able to come out in the end, possibly sneak their team in, if possible, for a Lord kill, if they do end up coming out below VG towards the end of the game. But that's enough of my talk. Let me see if everyone's ready. And yeah, we'll get started in just a second. I'm just gonna play some music while we wait, guys, because I think someone's AFK at the moment. Oh, join the team now. So as soon as they're already up, we're gonna get going. Alrighty guys, here we go now. I'm gonna pause this for a minute here. Anyway, we're getting started here now. This is going to be round 2. Visceral Gaming currently 1-0 in the set. I do apologize for the lack of scoreboard overlays, but I will be getting those pretty soon. Visceral Gaming currently up 1-0 in this set, taking on poor Commoners at the moment. Bus being thrown on both sides, Swiftness as well. Oh, but I think... Oh, unfortunately, we are going to see Visceral Gaming have a bit of a swiftness advantage. I do think it's going to be enough for both people to get to the points out, but let's open up and see the splits. And again, a virtual mirror split here. However, we are going to have Blue Team do a bit of a dastardly move as they push themselves over here to Quarry to counter. I think there's going to be, as they just stopped, there's going to be a Shadow Refuge play as well as they move themselves onto Quarry. On the graveyard itself, we do have one Guardian on it, and other members of Red Team are about to pull onto it as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how we go off here. One Necromancer from the Red Team is going to be moving himself over to Quarry, I think, in a second. But let's actually look at the points itself so we can see what we have going on. Barry at the moment here, currently taking on 4 members of Visceral Gaming. It's going to be tough for him. And like I said here before, Visceral Gaming definitely wants his middle point so they can have it as a staging ground. They're definitely more of the traditional bar-in fight team, or just frontline fight team, so they are going to be prioritizing taking that middle point there, as we're seeing now. Let's open up the map, see what else we got going over Quarry. I think Blue Team did manage to take control of that, so they are going to have control over 2 points off the bat here, as Commoner, like I said, working themselves around that side point. They definitely have that strong advantage, whereas Visceral Gaming seems to be more of that frontline, in-your-face type of team, like I said before. Nova is going to get knocked out here, so VG, I do believe, is going to get the initial cap off here. Back at the waterfall itself, we do have Forsaker 1v2ing at the moment. Probably not the best decision in my idea, but he does have reinforcements coming in here from Lycee now, but he might be forced to take a lot of damage almost instantly off the bat here, as Forsaker is about to go down. 3 members now of Team Commoners are coming in here now to try and stop out Forsaker, and we also have, unfortunately, Lycee is going to be forced to retreat, so they are going to still hold those 2 points, but back at Quarry, I think they actually left it open now, and because of that, and apologies for the background noise, I'm Not a Cat actually took that back for his team, and they're going to have that tech 2 cap as well for Team Visceral Gaming as everyone moves back over here to the graveyard. Now we have a big team fight about to erupt through a Commoner Curve, instantly being the initial target here, is going to pop himself through a portal actually, and get himself out of there alive. So very close play there. They managed, oh, and again, he actually fell back to Quarry here, and is going to flip that point once more, so that's 3 flips already over on that point. Very nice play by Curve. Back at the graveyard itself, we did have Surge and Iskra get knocked out there, so that is going to be an advantage for Commoner in this middle fight. Let's check out Forsaker as he comes into this fight and see how much damage he's about to deal here from his AoE conditions. As he moves himself in here now. Just watch these conditions, guys. This is the Necromancer. Keep in mind, the Necromancer is reasonably buffed, so Commoner's going to have to try and deal with all of this AoE that's about to come in. Definitely choosing to prioritize on Barry here for a second, but Commoner definitely seems to be falling back. But they do still hold pretty prominent control of these 2 side points and are bunkering them pretty well for the time being as they sort of try to move themselves onto this middle point. But like I said, they're really just focalizing on the side points. We do have Red Team's Thief possibly trying to sneak in here for a decap on Waterfall now, but let's see if he gets noticed, and I don't think he will. Back at the Quarry itself, though, let's see what we got going on over here. We do have another 1v1 between I'm Not a Cat and Commoner Curve. Commoner Curve currently up in this team fight now, as we're seeing I'm Not a Cat about to go down here. No, actually, it's still pretty even fight, so we'll check back on that in just a second. And the Thief for the Red Team did manage to decap Waterfall, so they do have that up their sleeve. And back at the middle point itself, Commoner Nick was about to get hit pretty hard here by AoEs from coming in here from the Red Team. He's going to get knocked out here now, trying to take him down. His other members, Commoner Curve as well, just was taken down, so it is going to be I'm Not a Cat holding this point strong for the Red Team. And back over here, we do have Blue Team falling back to take back their Waterfall now, as it was decapped by Red Team Steve just a few seconds ago. So Red Team currently holding 2 points strong. They are down, actually, 102 points to 110 points, but that's going to change in just a couple seconds as they do control 2 side points. That's a pretty usual game so far. No out-of-the-hat stuff. We do have 2 members of the Red Team sort of... I think Red Team's almost going to try to stop some people coming out of spawn here, and the Red Team Thief is going to be sneaking around once again. Remember, you guys sort of have to like play sneakily on this map because you sneak around from stuff. But back over here, I think we are going to have another Shadow Refuge play. Let me see what's going on here. Actually, no, just group it up here. Oh, but they do have that Thief, Surge, and Iskra coming in onto the waterfall now. His might decap the point, and unfortunately he was stumped that time though, so they are going to be able to hold that full cap for themselves and keep points rolling in. Back over here, we have the Mesmer. Find the Mesmer. Commoner Curve here now, trying to go for Quarry. Really, I think we're seeing, if you just look at the map movement, both teams are sort of just trying to play safe, or not really, actually. Red Team's trying to play safe, but Blue Team's really just trying to out-juke them here, trying to get a sneaky decap off and then move on to another point from there. But it might have actually worked here now, as Commoner is jumping on Vonthal now. We do have reinforcements coming in from other Visceral Gaming members now, as they try to take him down, but Vonthal already took a heavy amount of damage, has already popped 2 out of 3 of his shots, and his heal does have this Virtual Resolve and Courage still available, along with his Renewed Focus, so Vonthal's still good for the time being. Nova, while that happened, though, did get countered a bit, though. He was taken down. They popped the Illusion of Light, though, and he's not going to be back in this fight, as Nova falls himself back here now. Vonthal trying to come in here, trying to knock out some people. Going to come over to Forsaker's point of view. The Necromancer from Visceral Gaming, as they hold this off at the moment. And everyone is sort of just passively waiting on this mid-fight here, trying to get themselves in. Oh, and a burst over there. Just did a heavy amount of damage onto other members of Commoner. Commoner Curve is getting somewhat low here, along with Nova. As in addition to that, Barry is sort of starting to run a... He actually does have most of his corners builds, so Commoner Barry still in a pretty good spot. Lyzee, however, was just knocked out, trying to come in for the stomp here now. We have the Illusion, or not the Illusion, the Elixir now, and Lyzee is going to be able to survive and get himself back up. And Lyzee's actually going to be a backwing from this fight. So I thought she was going to push for Waterfall, but apparently not. Going to come back into that fight, and Nova followed her, however. So while that happened, Commoner Curve was knocked out from residual AoE. Searching his cross, trying to come in and deal damage on the down body at the moment, as is I'm Not a Cat trying to knock him out here. There's a lot of heals coming in from other members of Poor Commoners at the moment, but they're taking a hefty amount of damage from that. Commoner Nyquist almost died while trying to res, along with Barry now, who was taking... Look at all those conditions there. They just expired. But if you manage to get that, there was pretty much almost every condition was on him there, so he's going to get knocked out here as well, which is going to keep that point in control of Visceral Gaming for the time being and keep themselves in the lead. Once again, 252 points right now for Visceral Gaming, 185 points, not that far behind, don't get me wrong, for Poor Commoners. And now Visceral Gaming is doing something that I would never say you should do. Pushing into this third point is something you don't want to do, in my opinion, unless you almost positively have control of everything. I would never push for a third point, just because of the reason that it's extremely risky, because if you lose 1 or 2 people, then you're not going to be able to defend your other 2 points, and it just gets ugly. And like we've already seen here, they're going to get decapped back over here, Choir, because they pushed on to that point. They did manage to get it, but they're gonna basically just trade points now. They're gonna lose their close point. Back at the graveyard, still nothing actually happening over there. We do have a bit of a fight erupting, and let me get to it real quick for Saker's point of view now. As other members of the blue team, they try to rush in here now, get this 3rd cap back for themselves. But again, while that all happened, they sort of just flip points. Commodore Razak is going to be 1v1ing I'm Not a Cat back over here at the waterfall itself, so they are going to be on that for a while. I'm Not a Cat is sort of on the losing end of this right now, but he's holding on strong for the time being. I think we do have another fight about to erupt at the graveyard itself, so let's head over there and see how that's going on. Sergeant Iskra currently trying to take... We haven't looked at him yet, so let's take a look at his build. Or not his build, just his position here. Oh, that's actually a lot of damage going off on Nova there. Instantly knocking him out. Barry's going to come in and use knockbacks, trying to get him up as well. So he is going to be brought back into that fight. That was Search Iskra. Despite doing all the damage, is going to be negated there as they res him back up. Nyquist, however, was knocked out. Razak back over here, still 1v1ing, so we'll check back on that in just a second. Back over here at the middle point, we still have Lizy taking on. We still have Lizy holding off with other members of Visceral Gaming at this middle fight here, trying to hold on. And Visceral Gaming actually holding on to a 3-cap now. And keep in mind, Visceral Gaming is within range of that Lord Rush if they so choose to go for it right now. We have Red Team controlling 3 points. Unfortunately, I think the issue right now with the blue team is that they're extremely split up poor commoners. They're really just sending everyone everywhere, trying to contest everything when they need to focalize on one point and sort of branch out from there to give themselves better positioning. But while that happened though, Lizy did manage to come in there, or actually not Lizy, apologies. Commodore Nyquist did manage to come in there and do a pretty hefty amount of damage. Nova was knocked out there. The reses are trying to come in now, and Lizy just trying to deal as much damage as possible to keep the body in the downstate. Nova's trying to be resed up now by the Guardian for the blue team, and yes, he will get back up. They did manage to get it back up there. Blue team finally getting control of another point. Are going to start earning points one more, but they need to move quickly now. 420 points actually for Visceral Gaming. They are going to be in some significant trouble if they don't manage to get themselves up to 350 and rush this Lord pretty quickly. They need to utilize the fact that, in my opinion, they have a lot better mobility over Visceral Gaming. They could sneak around to these other points like Quarry, and like we're about to see here. Just as I said that, the Mesmer is going to come back here. No, I just going to jump off. Interesting play. I think what we're going to see here now, and I'm going to make another prediction, is he's going to come in here and nope, my prediction was completely off, so I'm not even going to finish it. Back over here at the graveyard, Vonthal at the moment just leaves his heal there, and I'm Not a Cat as well is helping out with this fight. We're having Nova take a bit of damage here. He is in some trouble with the burns and stuff. Burns, bleeds, and poison on him at the moment. But while that happened, I'm Not a Cat just got completely turned around as other birds came in there from the form of Curve. In addition to other members of Poor Commerce, they managed to come in there and really save the day, knocking out I'm Not a Cat and keeping their teammate Nova alive back in this. Let's go over to Commodore Curve's point of view now as they try to knock out the other members of him with 472 points. 476 points now. It is looking pretty bleak for Poor Commoners unless they can get full 3-cap now and manage to hold it off until they can get to 350 and then rush the Lord. It does look like, guys, and I hate to call it early, but it does look like with 490 points now that Visceral Gaming is going to be taking round 2 as well. And Mobile getting knocked out here. We could see Poor Commoners take this, but unfortunately, like I said, the points are still rolling in over at Quarry. No one has gone and did decap that as of yet, so it's looking pretty bleak. GG's have been called. That is going to give round 2 to Visceral Gaming as well.
I'm here, I'm your statue. Your heart is a magnet, I'm coming at you. Girl, you're my target, I'm aiming at you. You're a comet, I'm trying to catch you. We can break any rule they ever taught you. Forget about anything they ever bought you. Cause me and you don't need a lot in this world to get by. Plus you know I got you, you pull me in. I don't resist, time seems to fly but the clock doesn't tick. I crash into you, we both feel the hit. We both feel the way that our chemicals mix. And I wish that I just keep my eyes shut. Maybe this time it'll be enough. Need the dark. Without you here, I wouldn't never see the stars. I'm headed for you. Put on the gas.
And this is going to be round 3 now. Poor Commoner is taking on Visceral Gaming here. Now on the Battle of Kylo, opening up the map. Let's explain the map for those of you new to Guild Wars 2. Once again, as explained on the other 2 maps as well, this is a 3 capture points, capture the point, the objective here. But obviously the secondary objectives to consider is pretty standard. This map. It's not really worth any points, but it's pretty point turning objective here. Each team has access to a trebuchet, pretty located conveniently directly next to their spawn here that they can jump onto and deal a lot of damage. It is sort of a skill shot, so it does take some learning to get used to it, but most of these teams obviously know how to use it. It can be destroyed by the opposing team if they come in and damage it. And yeah, it can lead some pretty fight-turning battles there if the trebuchet is used properly, so it's going to be fun to see how that plays out. Once again, this map is not using the triangular pattern, it's going to be a straight line pattern on the points, so that will contribute to how well teams backcap. However, I do think this map is a little bit easier to backcap things on because it's has a lot more alleyways and stuff you can sneak through and whatnot, so I think that makes up for it as well. And as soon as everyone's ready up, we're gonna get started. Just take a drink because my throat is about to explode. I don't know, DXI. I do not know if I am or not. I hope I am, but I don't have my hopes up too much. I think they got someone else to do it. So I'll worry about that when I get there. So I hate to see what happens with that. I like I said, I wish I am, or I wish I was, but I don't think I will be. Yeah. That's something I don't really want to talk about on stream anyway. Oops, I think the mesmer is lagging out. Someone, am I an idiot? As soon as everyone is ready, I think we're just talking up some strats, some improvements both these guys can make. As this is scrims, this isn't anything official. Then yeah, we'll get started. They're just discussing Sword Dagger Thief at the moment, so as soon as everybody gets ready. Get started. This is gonna be our last one, guys. My throat can only do so much solo casting. I do apologize for that. But I'm gonna be live tomorrow, 2 p.m., same time as we started today. But this is gonna be our last, because I think one of the mesmers on this matchup has to go as well. So I'm gonna head out after this one as well. Yeah. And as soon as everyone's readied up, we're gonna get started.
Feel the fury. Accelerate.
There we go. Alright, apologies. I'll tap there for a second. But here we go, guys. Starting up round 3. It's Visceral Gaming going up against Poor Commoner. Starting off in just a couple seconds here. Get ready to go, guys. 8 seconds to go on Battle of Kylo, round 3. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gates are opening up in just a second. And let's see how they go with splits. So red team is going to be sending their elementals as well as their engineer going to be heading over here to Windmill. Meanwhile, blue team is only going to send their engineer over to Mansion. Everybody else is grouping up either to go to Clock Tower or Windmill. It's a little bit hard to tell until it actually utilizes itself. I do think blue team is going to choose to go into Windmill, as is red team. But red team as well is going to be using their Trebuchet, as is blue team. So we're going to have an elementals versus Necro fight at red team Treb and a thief versus thief fight over at blue team Treb. Let's check out the thief versus thief fight though. Those are always good to watch if I can get an eye on it. There you go. Nyquist's point of view. Search and Iskra falls back in a moment. Nyquist holding on is going to be Sword Dagger versus Dagger Pistol. Blue team does have the Dagger Pistol. And this is going to be interesting to say the least. These team fights here are always so high octane as everyone's jumping around trying to get that damage off that we're seeing here now. No one's up at the moment as of yet. We'll check back in just a second as we do have 2 people down over here at the other point as well. So I do think red team for the time back in the middle as well. Commoner Curve was knocked out. Lysy managed to take him down, so VG is going to get an advantage there as well. And Commoner Nyquist did. Oh, and I missed it. Commoner Nyquist was taken out by Surgeon Scraw. Surgeon Scraw is extremely low, however, so he's just going to let him sit there and bleed and try to give himself. Oh, we could see a bit of a down fight there. But both the members hope and Surgeon Scraw is going to roll stuff off there. But I think we actually have oh my goodness, all 4 members of Commoner are knocked out at the moment, along with Nova. So he is going to be knocked. Everyone's going to be out of that, and that's going to leave poor Commoner at a very significant disadvantage here. He's going to be able to get back in time to defend the mansion, but unfortunately, two or more people from coming in here from Visceral Gaming are going to come in to reinforce and possibly take that point back. So Visceral Gaming is going to get the advantage once more, 65 points in their favor with 2 capture points. And 38 points for blue team at the moment with 1 capture point. As they all are actually going to pop into stealth here. This could be interesting. Let's see how this goes. They use that smoke from the engineer's bomb force. See how that goes. As they all jump in on this, they are going to jump on Commoner Curve, but more people are going to be coming in here now from poor counters to try and reinforce this. So red team might be in a bit of trouble here. They might have overextended themselves a bit here. Like I've said before, you usually don't want to go for that third point, especially if you're not going all in on it. As we're seeing, they are forced to fall back. Luckily for them, no one went down, so they do have that still up their sleeve. Vonthal's going to come in here, throw down that line. Oh, actually, that wasn't a line of warning, I don't think so. They are going to be able to get him out of there. Very nice support from Vonthal up there. And back over here, Forsaker has warded off an attack from Nyquist, so he's going to get that back in his favor. Back at the clock tower itself, though. Oops, I lost my mouse for a second here. We do have an invasion about to begin here. I'm Not a Cat, Lysy, as well as Vonthal are being invaded by Barry Razak and Nova. The Treb shots are coming in now from the red team. Actually, yep, from the red team as well, but there's a 1v1 already engaged, so that's not going to last very long as everybody jumps in on that. We still do have a pretty even team with, although it does appear the blue team has a bit of advantage in numbers here now, but with the Treb shots coming in favor of red team, blue team might lose that advantage if they lose that 1v1 over at the Treb. Commoner Bear and Commoner Curve, I'm sorry, not Commoner Curve. Commoner Bear and Commoner Rozak are taking a hefty amount of damage at the moment, and Commoner Rozak is about to be taken down here. He's going to get knocked out. Oh, Bear trying to come in for the res, unfortunately gets knocked back as well as Vonthal comes in trying to knock him out here now. Lysy about to take him down, and he is going to be knocked out. They're giving them the advantage in this team fight. I'm Not a Cat as well, trying to move on to this point to support his teammates. Nyquist has followed him, I think, from another point here now, and Nyquist unfortunately is going to bail this as well and leave this in control of VG because the Trebuchet is still in control. 2 members of blue team have actually gone over here now. 2 members of poor Commoners have gone over here now because they realize they need to kill this Trebuchet. Nova's in a bit of trouble here now as we do see the thief. Searching Iskra trying to come in and knock him out here now. We do have Commoner Curve getting low here as well as he tries to retreat. No one on his tail at the moment. Searching Iskra choosing to utilize on the Treb itself. And Nova, however, was knocked out there now, giving them the advantage. Back up at the Treb itself, no one on it, manning it as of yet, as VG still has a pretty safe advantage. But other than that, they are going for that 3rd point once again, and I never agree with this. They are going to try to take on Nyquist now. They're trying to deal damage on him, but with the elixir there, they are probably going to get him back up into this. I'm Not a Cat 3v1ing at the moment. He might want to consider retreating now, as Search Iskra has already done, trying to get out of there now, get back to his teammate support, and really just keep himself alive. And back at the Treb itself, nothing going on over there. But I think we might have another engagement at Clock Tower. Three people there at the moment. Blue team about to move in on it. Let me jump onto Barry's point of view as they all get ready. And I think a lot of them are actually heading over here to the Trebuchet now. It's unfortunately for poor Converse, it's just proven to be far too much trouble for them, and they really, because of that, they really just had to focalize on a full win. Nyquist is moving in, however, Barry is not. I totally agree with that you really don't want to be sending your Guardian over to the trap. It's not going to be able to do much there, in all honesty, but they are going to be hanging out on the outskirts for the time being, just waiting, as more people actually head over here to Manch now. They are going to be falling back as Commoner Curve was knocked out there, and I'm Not a Cat and Lizy once more going in for that third cap, doing a very nice job at counter-aggressing here now. Haven't managed to over-rest themselves yet, and I'm Not a Cat has managed to keep us up. Might get a full decap off here, and no, actually knocks his enemy onto the point there. Manages to keep that point capped into their favor. I'm Not a Cat, however, surrounded by 3 people at the moment. He is going to have to escape this, and unfortunately, because of that, he does get knocked out there now, and he's going to be out of this fight if they so choose to move on to a clock tower fight. And finally, Brad Team's Treb was killed, so they don't have that advantage anymore, so they can probably move on to middle with a little bit more confidence than they were before. By the time it is somewhat stalemate. Back at Clock Tower itself, the fight has begun. Vontal's taking a lot of damage here as Nova tries to come in and duke him out here now. We also have Barry coming in to tank for him. Nova, however, is taking a lot of pressure as Search and Iskra, as well as Lycy tries to come in and take him down here. But with more members of Poor Counters flying in here, we could see a decap go off, going on to Nova's point of view now, as he's holding off 2 seconds until the water fills up for him, so he might be able to survive this as well. Still has his full health, but that's usually not a good idea to ever use that. He's going to fall back now, pop that cleansing wave, and get himself back into this fight now, so he's safe for the time being. They are making some headway on this fight, but no, by kicking out Lyzy, but Vontal might be able to get Lyzy back up. There's far too much healing power coming out of that, not enough damage to keep him down state, so he is going to be able to get that full rest off. They're jumping right back on him, though, dealing lots of damage on him, and more reinforcements from Visceral Gaming are coming in here as well to try and hold this point back in their favor. Nova does have that. Actually, we're going to jump onto someone else's point of view here. Jumping over to Commander Nyquist's point of view, see how much damage he can do to the red team now as they try to take this point away from them. No clear radar as of yet, pretty stalemated, and Nyquist is actually just going to check. That's actually very, very intuitive of Nyquist there to check in on the mansion point to make sure no one is trying to decap that or trying to get that away from him now. So it's a very, very insightful thing to do there. And as he comes in here, Lyzy trying to take him down as well, pulling him in a bit of a corner there, and we are seeing now Poor Converse being pretty smart, but this is not actually going on to the point where it's pretty much just an AoE trap. They all are just hanging out on the edges and letting Nyquist and the other bursty members of Commoner trying to take people out wherever they can. Commoner Curve over here is in a bit of trouble. Oh, I'm lucky that doesn't inflict fall damage. Is in a bit of trouble here now. As Searching Iskra jumps on him. We do have Raza coming in to save him, though. We are going to see a Shadow Refuge coming in there, so it will be able to save him and get him back up into that Searching Iskra. Unfortunately, will not be able to get that full kill off of him there. Back at the mansion itself, we do have the engineer falling back to it, so that's just going to be a safety move, I believe. Back up here at the point itself, Vontal has managed to re-ascertain full control over that, so they are going to be holding that for the time being. Back in the grave, or in the courtyard rather, outside of it, this map is really just all over the place. And just to remind you guys of the score once more, Visceral Gaming has won both maps and is looking to win the third map right now, as they are up currently with 2 capture points, 415 points in the game itself. And Poor Commoners is down at the moment with 230 points with 1 capture point. And it is under contention. We're going to check that out over here. As Lyzy, in addition to I'm Not a Cat, currently aggressing against Poor Commoner, Poor Commoner Barry and Poor Commoner Rozak. I apologize, can't read these names quickly enough. Trying to take him down. Barry does look like he might go down from residual AoE damage, though he's holding on strong for the time being. Does have that symbol of judgment down, so it is rezzing him slightly every second there. We also have an elixir being thrown. I'm not sure whose elixir that was. I think it was Lyzy's, but Barry's still alive in this. They are actually trying to res him down now. While all that happened, I'm Not a Cat was knocked out as well. I'm Not a Cat does have the elixir down, but it is going to be enough. There's a lot of AoE damage coming out, and then yes, it was able to get him back up there, so he's still in this fight, still alive and in this. So fortunately for them, they are blue team, or yeah, apologies. Red team is going to be able to survive that, but he does get taken down once more. And Commoner is going to be holding on to this point, however, holding that strong. But in all honesty, guys, it's not going to matter much. This is 25 points away with 2 solid counter points. So no contention really citable on either of the points for the time being. Only 20 seconds to go, not including kills. And GG's have been called. So that is going to give round 3 as well to Visceral Gaming. Congrats, Visceral Gaming, winning all 3 games today. Keep in mind, this was a practice scrim. Both teams were testing out strategies and whatnot. So obviously, this does not indicate any team over the other. Yeah, it was fun matches. Big ol' thanks to Visceral Gaming as well as Poor Commoners for allowing me to shoutcast this match. VOD should be up for those of you watching live within about 24 to 48 hours, and for those of you watching live, or for those of you watching on YouTube, thanks for watching. And yeah.